Be'ez Hashem Yisboch, we begin Perek Revi, the fourth chapter in the Rambam Hilchos Shabbes, Laws of Shabbos, in the Sefer Zman, book of the designated times, which we continue the theme regarding the previous Perek, regarding different ways of maintaining food that you started from before Shabbos going into Shabbos. So in this Perek we discuss regarding insulating a cooked dish, which Rambam gives a halach regarding there's two types of categories. There's things when you insulate it increases the heat, and there are those that do not increase the heat. Yesh Devarim, there are certain things that if you insulate the dish inside of them, it gets hot and it increases the cooking like it does with fire. For example, hagefes. Gefes is any, it's the refuse that remains after you squeeze out the oil from the olives, so that pulp heats up like fire. Or bezevel, manure, animal dung. The melach and salt, the sid and lime, b'choil and sand, oizagen, or the grape peels, umoichin, or is anything soft like wool, vasavim and grass. So regarding the last three, bezmat shloshtem lachem, the last three of zagen, moichin, asavim, that they're problematic when they're moist, in contrast when they're not. And even if they're moist, even from their inherent own moisture. Now, these things are called davar hamaysav hevel. They are things that increase the heat. Now, there are certain things. If you insulate the dish inside of them, all it's going to do is going to maintain the heat. But it does not increase the cooking. It just prevents it from cooling down. For example, the last three we mentioned of the zagin of the grape peels, the meichin, and the cotton, whatever it is, the soft material of asavim and the grass that are yevashim when they're dry, uchsus, or a garment, upedes, or produce, or v'kamviyeno, or dove's wings, or na'iris, hapishton, which are the things that fall off from the flax when you bang it in processing it, u'neseres charashim, or the sawdust from the carpenters that comes off when they're sawing. Ushlachin, which is animal skin that was skinned with and the hair still on it, begizitzemer, or shearings of wool. These things, dvarim elu in the Quran, they're called davar she'enim ma'asav, things that did not increase the heat. All they do is they just insulate that it doesn't get cold. So halacha beis now describes this the gzeira, the rabbinic decree of atman of insulation. So minadin hayo, from the basic halacha, it would be that you be allowed to insulate the food in something that increased the heat from before Shabbos, and that the dish will remain insulated over Shabbos, because you're allowed to keep food over a fire on Shabbos. The sages said that it's forbidden to insulate in something that increases heat, even if you put it in from before Shabbos. Gzeira is a rabbinic decree. Because what might happen is the pot might be boiling on Shabbos. So you're going to have to uncover it until the bubbling stops. And you go ahead and recover it on Shabbos. It's going to come out. You're going to be insulating in something that increases the heat on Shabbos, which that is prohibited, that is problematic, and therefore you're not allowed to even insulate with it from before Shabbos, because you might run into that situation. Now, actually, for that reason, you're allowed to insulate even with something that increases heat if it's done by ben hashmashes, by twilight. Why? Because because we could presume pots by twilight that kvaroscho, they're already heated up, they're already boiled, and they already calm down from the bubbling. And once they calm down, they're not going to bubble up again. So you're not going to run into that problem, and therefore then actually you could actually be matan specifically by ben hashmashes with davar that's meisav hevel. Halacha gimel. Same thing from the law, the letter of the law. It would be permitted to insulate a cooked dish, but something that does not increase heat, but Shabbos itself, because you're not going to cause anything to be heated up. But the sage said this is forbidden. Because it's a decree, because you might insulate in hot ashes, and there's going to be sparks of fire. But then you're going to stoke those coals. They said it's forbidden to insulate anything warm on Shabbos, in something that does not increase the heat because of a situation where you might have remets, and then you might come to stoke the coals. Halacha dal. Now, if you're not sure if it's nighttime or not nighttime, which is the time of Ben Hashmasha that we mentioned before of twilight, so then, as we said, then you're allowed to insulate a hot thing. Now, That's one heter. So too, you're allowed to insulate something that's cold on Shabbos, but like we said, something that does not increase the heat, which is generally forbidden. But here it's kadesh leitzdan b'yos. You just don't want it to get colder, or actually kadesh davik to us, and just that it should lose its chill. So those things are permitted b'davar she'einu ma'aser on Shabbos, or chamen she'tumanim be'erev Shabbos. Something hot that was insulated from before Shabbos, which and something that's not ma'aser v'evel. V'niskal b'Shabbos, it became uncovered on Shabbos. Mutal chasosim allowed to cover it. Shadei einu ma'aser because it's not increasing. And although you say not initially put on even einu ma'aser v'evel on Shabbos, but you're allowed to put it back or switch what was already covered, switch the covering on Shabbos. How so? So you could take off the garment that it was insulated in, which does not increase, which we say permitted from before Shabbos, and then you could go ahead and then re-insulate it in the wings of a pigeon, or to take the feathers of a dove. You take that off and then you put in the garment. That is permitted. It's the same category that you were just continuing from before Shabbos, even though it's a different item. Halacha hey, pina tav shalei mayim achamen. If you emptied out the dish or the hot water, mikli lekli acher, you transfer from one vessel to another vessel, then actually mutal hatan like kli acher b'Shabbos. Although you're not allowed to insulate on Shabbos, if you took it from the first vessel to a second vessel, you're allowed to insulate that second vessel on Shabbos. B'davar she'einu ma'aser, something that does not increase heat. Just like you're allowed to insulate something that's cold. They didn't say it's forbidden to insulate on Shabbos. Only something hot, which is in the initial vessel that it was cooked in. No, but you emptied out into what's called a klisheni, into the second vessel, then what that's permitted is just like something that's cold. It's not going to have the heat that you're going to really be able to cook with, and then we're not concerned, and that actually will be permitted to insulate on Shabbos itself. Halacha vav. Now, manichem mechem, you're allowed to put a copper vessel that's used to heat up water, al gabe mechem, on top of another mechem, b'Shabbos on Shabbos. And even though these are similar to like insulating, and one pot on top of another pot, or or a pot on top of the samovar, or or the mechem on, or the other way around, the hot copper, the copper vessel on top of the pot, and and you could smear the opening with dough. Now, not that it should get heated up, because it's just to maintain its heat. Because although we made it forbidden something similar, but that was only for insulating. But the case that we're describing, to put one hot vessel on top of another hot vessel, which is just to maintain its heat, that would be permitted. Now, but you're not allowed to place a vessel has something cold on top of a hot vessel on Shabbos. Should a moilech, or the gears could be moiled by cham Shabbos, because you're introducing heat into it on Shabbos. That would be forbidden. But if you left it from before Shabbos, mutter is permitted. And it's not like insulating something that increases heat, which that's forbidden even before Shabbos. It's not atmana. It's just placing on top of it, and therefore that would be permitted if it was done from before Shabbos.